I think that's it from my side. Christina, anything else?
I think that's it. Thanks so much, Mark. I appreciate it. All
Sure.
right, everyone. So Mark gave a little bit of a preview, but we are going to walk through I mean, Pete, what do I even call it? I mean, a custom GPT seems too small for what you've created. But
Yeah.
let's maybe start first by tell us the problem that you and Robert were trying to solve
Yeah.
before you set this up.
Yeah, and before I even go there, Bridget, I want to apologize if this was anxiety
Oh,
inducing because we didn't give you a lot of information.
well, you know what?
But
Kristen took that off the table when I asked her, do I have to type in front of people? Because that's going to be
Yeah,
very difficult to watch.
not at all.
I was
Not at
like,
all.
don't worry about typing. We'll make
Yes.
That
Pete do
was
the
all I
awkward
was concerned
typing.
about.
Yeah. So we didn't give Bridget, we just basically said, Bridget, will you partner with us? And then she's like, yes, what do I have to do? And then there was like crickets and we didn't answer her. And so Bridget, we're very sorry. But part of it is I'm telling you, like, you don't really you just have to be my foil, really, is all you have to do.
Mhm.
And so apologies for that. So everybody, so the what I'm showing here is a pitch deck framework scale developed. And Robert was working with a early stage company on some of their messaging and on their sales pitch. And he recommended, hey, if you're looking for a framework, why don't you check out the Scale sales pitch framework? And it looks basically like this. It's 6 slides, 6 ideas, and these are the elements of the story arc. And so Robert then thought, I know most of you know Robert Kaler. He said, why don't I try to enlist the capabilities of AI for this? So
Mhm.
he kind of cracked this open and then had a couple turns at it and said, hey, maybe this is something. And so we just kind of brought the team together and
Yeah.
then built what we're going to show today. So that's kind of the
Hey,
background on it.
perfect. Pete, before you jump in, we've got some folks that can't access the GPT. So can we take a quick second and see if we can? We tested
Yeah,
this before and we were all able to access it,
I
but
don't
let's
know.
see if we can make sure.
I don't know if it might be reverting back when I save it. So let me just
Okay.
go in there right now
There's
and
one sec, folks.
yeah, sorry about that. Um
Okay, we'll take a second. And
yeah, it's
for
reverting back.
anyone,
That's so
okay,
weird.
no worries. For anyone who's joining, maybe for the first time, I just want to, while Pete's fixing that, I just want to echo a couple of things. One is we want this to be a working session, sleeves rolled up. So as much as possible, if you want to follow along, please do. And if you run into challenges or issues, let us know. Like this is absolutely meant to like, let's get some work done together, and let's help you if you're struggling. The other thing I want to say is we want these to absolutely be interactive. So Bridget was kind enough to be our guinea pig this time, but if there's something you want to like, hey, do this for me and my team, like please raise your hand, let us know if you're willing to be the one that we create something for. And or if you've created something cool and you just want to show it to everyone, we'd love to see it. So keep that in mind. Like we want this to be working session and we'd love for everyone to participate as much as possible. So okay,
Great.
great.
How's
Does
that
any
working?
try it again, Zach and Shelly, and
Okay.
anyone else who's trying? You good?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. For some
Good stuff.
reason, yeah, when I go in it and I update, I think every time you update, you need to then reset the thing. So anyway, so here we are. And I mean, it is what it is, the scale sales pitch generator. And so I try to make it so that it's super approachable and accessible. So Bridget, so like you land here, and so we'll just say, can everybody see this? Let me just bump it up a little bit, right?
Yeah, it'd be better to make it just a little bit bigger. And maybe I'll frame everybody real quick. So Pete's going to ask Bridget several questions that the GPT is leading them through. So Pete's going to take those questions, write them down, take Bridget's answers and write them down. And it's going to lead us through a series of steps, which is great. At the end of this, it's going to give us what is effectively the narrative outline for the pitch deck. And then if we have time, Pete, I think you're going to show us how to create that into visuals, like actual mock-ups of those slides as well, correct?
If we have
Got
time.
it. Got it.
So
Okay.
I just came in here and just said, hey, what do I do to get started? And it answered. I think it's funny. It's like giving us the actual PDF that's in its knowledge. But hey, I'm going to help you build a 6 slide deck. Do you want to see? So Bridget, I mean, I'm just going to be the typist. You're actually the operator. I'm like the robot that does what you say. So you tell me, what do you want? Do you want to see example decks? Do you want to create your own deck?
I would like you to create 6 slides I can use as a loops pitch deck, please.
Okay, so let's put in loops. Okay, how about this? What really, right? It's asking, what is it? Loops, are you referring to a company or product name Loops?
Yeah, I'm referring to the company also whose website is getloops.ai.
Does this seem like it's the right one?
Yep, that is the right one.
Okay. Let's see. We need to find, right. To follow the scale GTM story arc, we have to define these values. So these are the things it's going to go and look up for us. Okay, so all we have to do is just follow. So let's look. Confirm. Okay, let's start with variable 1. Based on the research, this is what it's saying. And it's asking, does this align with how you see loops? And yeah. And I'm not going to say anymore. I'm just going to read off the questions. You answer. If you want something different, you tell me.
Yes, this is good, but I would like that it would refer to Scout as agentic AI for product analytics. So the causal inference models rather than tools are important. They're foundational. And the fact that we can generate the root cause explainers for why KPIs have changed, that we can measure the impact of every product change with our release impact analysis.
That's a lot for me to type. Hang on. Measure what?
Measure the impact of every product change you make using our release impact analysis without an A/B test. And of course, Scout, your agentic, your AI analytics agent, delivers self-serve analytics for stakeholders. And doing that can free up to 70% of the questions that the analysts have to handle day to day. So it empowers business users and it frees up analysts to actually do the deep research they need to do to find the big growth opportunities. There's a lot there. But yeah, that was probably what I said, just with more detail. What you said with more detail.
All right. Perfect.
But in terms of category, like product and agentic AI is where we're playing.
All right. So based on my research, now remember, this is going out and it's searching the website, right, for your content. And so it's a good, like you were just doing, it's really good to steer it. So sometimes we're in a situation where we have some newer messaging, right, which I think we're seeing. And so we can go and we can change any of this. Let me just bump it down one here. We can change any of this or we can keep it. Sometimes what I've been able to do is I have a Google Doc on hand or whatever, any piece of content, and I just give it to it, right? If you have something that you've even like been drafting, right, for new messaging, you could just give it to it here. But for the sake of this, like, is there anything like surgical, Bridget, that we could pinpoint without, because we've got like 11 variables to do.
Yeah. I mean, what can we cut?
No, just if there's one or two things you want me to change.
Okay.
Like something that's pinpoint that'll make a difference, like not an overhaul.
One thing that I would add is that the agentic AI is based on the Loops causal inference platform. And so therefore, our AI does not hallucinate. we deliver trusted results that you can make product decisions on. That's one thing that is a differentiator. People are looking at Gen AI, but Gen AI today to try to do product analytics, and it's like putting your career on the line.
Yeah.
Actually, as we know, we've probably talked about that here. So that's one aspect that I would mention. And we go straight to providing you not just that a KPI changed, but why it changed. And that is a massive differentiator for many of the product analytics tools out there today.
So Bridget, before you go on, let me just say, sorry to interrupt because you're doing such a good job, but I just want to show you, we're going to cover a lot of depth.
Yeah.
And so what's nice about this is you only have to answer the question it's giving you.
Okay.
Not other, I get it. You're like a super energetic marketer, but so all we need to do is, are we in the right category? That's really all we're trying to do, right?
Yep. That's a good category.
Yeah. Okay. Also, I'm going to see if this is going to work. Oh. Yeah. Okay. Great. Made some updates. All right. Yes. Confirm. So you get the idea, right? You could just, if you wanted to, you could spend as much time as you wanted. But now it's going to move to this next variable, which is just target audience. Okay. So it's saying that based on the research, looks like these primary buying personas. Who's using it? PMs, analysts, data teams. Which industry? SaaS, e-commerce. Okay. I'm going to say proceed. So it's going to go and search the web for those things, and then we can steer it a little bit. So here you go. So just in terms of targets, is there something that you would want to change? Again, like think of things that are pivot points. Like you should absolutely change it because, like, for example, if it's a product for enterprise and it reads SMB, that's a pivot point because everything changes if you try to switch markets like that.
Well, we do target enterprise accounts, and we
target. I understand that. I was just giving it as an example to find something that is incredibly urgent to change, right? That's all.
Yeah, I think this is good. Although we do target the senior people, the head of product, and the vice presidents of analytics. And in terms of industries, I would also add marketplaces, gaming, also some big industries for us.
Okay, good. Perfect.
And consumer packaged goods as well, actually.
Oh, right on. I remember that now. Yes.
Yes. We won't say who saved $5 million when they put out a bad release, and we caught it early.
Right. So it's just taking that steering. Okay. So now we've got these senior leaders, and it's added those things in. Okay. Yeah. I don't know if this is true, but just for sake of time, we'll move on, right? It's not, but you get the idea. If you had more time, you'd go in and you'd analyze each of these things. So I'm just going to say confirm. So if you notice, like this thing is doing most of the work. I'm just sort of responding and essentially just trying to steer it a little bit. Okay, here are the 3 core customer problems. Although it gave us 5. What does it say here? Oh, variable 3. Core customer pain points. Let's take a look at these, and also this is a good place, like as I'm looking at it, maybe like this one here should be really emphasized as number 1, right? Any kind of steering you want to give it. Part of what I do here too is I think, slides shouldn't have a lot of words on them. So if I'm going to only have 2 or 3 bullets, what are the 1 or 2 words I want to make sure are on that slide? So which of these, or do you feel like these are in the right order for pain points?
Number 2, it's not about being slow, and it's not about incidents. It's that our root cause analysis will tell you what the drivers are, and will quantify those rather than correlation. And people come to us because they're sick of chasing down correlations or trying to find out why. we lead with why. Scout will tell you, hey, this dropped, and here are the 4 segments that are driving that drop, as an example. It's pulling its inside out of loops. Loops is the root cause. So that one is a bit incorrect. Number 3 is about impact of a release, right? You can put out a new release and not realize, and it looks good. The KPI average went up over time. In fact, I'm just doing something with that today. But if you run our loops release impact analysis, you'll see that that's just because other things are happening. And it might be just that, you're running a marketing campaign that drove a bunch of people to it. Nothing to do with your UX change. So that's about measuring the impact. And you could actually, what we often find is that there's actually a negative impact of, even though things look good. So traditional means, before and after analysis, averages, the kind of the lazy way to figure out what's going on. I mean, you push a button with loops and get the answer, but there's a lot of work under the covers. So that one is about impact, number 3. Number 4,
so that's good. So I'm just going to pause you there because I want to move us on because we're on variable 3. And we have like 10 or 11 of these. Okay, so customer. I love your enthusiasm, Bridget. Love it. Okay, customer.
And we
okay,
can totally go through this again, Bridget.
Yeah,
if it's helpful.
and I'm gonna. In fact, I'm gonna share the whole thing to you, so you'll have any work that you do. You're gonna have access to this chat, right? So you can just pick it up where we left off.
Awesome.
Okay. So great. So all this looks good. I'm just gonna say yes, it's accurate.
Yep.
For now and for brevity. And proceed. Now I'm learning, right? I know that it kind of asks me to confirm, and then it asks me to proceed. So I'm just telling it, make the next step. Next, market shift. Now this is part of that story arc, right? If we look here, it's saying, okay, what's happening in the market that is, or the identity, identifying the paradigm shift. So let's go back and see. What is this? The rise of causal AI. Mainstreaming of agentic AI. So these are the kinds of, again, according to the story arc, what's happening in the world that's causing you to have to change? This is outside of loops, right? Sometimes companies cause some of these trends to be happening, but it's really the bigger picture that your customer sees is something that you have to ride, right? A wave you have to ride or maybe get swamped or left behind. So do you have any steering in terms of these 3 top paradigm shifts? Like, just think at the top level, not all the detail. You could always do the detail in another session.
I think there's so many data sources. There's so much data. And people come to us because they're not getting traction on being able to figure all of that out and grow their company. They're wasting too much time. They're looking for AI-driven solutions, which is what we created in 2020 when we started out. It's traditional problems, and they're looking to AI to solve that. We are leading in that. We've been, built for causal AI. We're an AI-based solution, no-code solution, cloud native. We plug in minutes. We can see your data. So, and that's also the first question that people ask us, well, what does it take to integrate it? It's one of the first things they ask about it. It all sounds like nirvana. And then there's not a traditional sort of implementation, but I think those trends are opening they're seeing that there are solutions out there and taking action on that and maybe moving away from some of the traditional ones.
That's great. And Bridget, I'm going to say something here because you're giving such rich details. And Christina and Mark have seen me do this all the time. I can't do it right now just because of we're recording this, but I just go down here to the dictate, and instead of typing, I just literally do stream of conscious, just like you did. Just not that you were doing stream of conscious, you're operating from a knowledge base, but you know what I mean? Like, you can just talk to this thing. And that'll help steer it. And that way you don't have to worry so much about, right? And it'll figure out what's relevant to the current question or not. Okay. All right. So current approaches, what teams rely on today. So this is about what are the alternatives or things your customers are already using. Okay, it sounds like maybe some of this is the case.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. Summary of shortcomings. Look at this. Again, anything in here that's really standing out that you're like, no, take that out, or glaring omission that we want to add back in.
On the experimentation platform, kind of a limitation of traditional approaches. Well, A/B test is the traditional approach. And
Okay.
that requires time for traffic to build up. So you've got a base to test with. So people will not do that and they'll launch, or they will do just a simple before, after. Here it was before, here it was after. So what's missing often in these is population changes over time that can happen, that can change the mix during the experiment. And all the noise I mentioned earlier, there was a marketing campaign. That's just noise. That's a marketing campaign. The traffic's always heavier on the weekend. We know that when people go to the beach and they buy ice cream, that's just a seasonality thing, every weekend or every Christmas or whatever. So it doesn't handle the counterfactors, which is basically the noise. And you can also have complex situations like the one I described, where a release was rolled out partially. So how can you measure the impact of a partial release properly, or when releases happen like 2 a week, and you've got that narrow experiment window for the one that you're looking at right now. What did that one, number ABC, number 16, what impact did that one have, in the midst of all of this? That can be very complex to do. And these systems don't always do those complex situations or the noisy situations.
Right on. Okay. Yeah, see, look at that critical distinction, right? So now it's revising this. So that was excellent, right? That's the exact kind of thing that you want to be able to put in here. Boom, boom, boom. Okay.
Pete, if I could just jump in for 1 second, for everyone else kind of following along, that's exactly why this particular GPT is set up this way, because often teams struggle to create the pitch deck and get all those nuances and decide which nuances are sort of the most important. So what ends up happening, right, is we just put a lot of information about us in the deck. And what this is trying to get to is those nuances that might lead with that transformational message up front, and then we can provide some of that supporting. But the underlying framework that this is based off of is all about how to craft that story in a way that draws that potential prospect in. So it's not that these are questions that you won't have the answers to. In some cases, they might just not be articulated elsewhere, or maybe didn't get prioritized in your messaging. So the purpose of this and the way it's leading you through is to try and tease out and help you pull out those nuances in that prioritization. Sorry, Pete, off my soapbox.
All
Continue.
good. Yeah, it's all good. So what I'm going to do, just for time, you can see it's starting to really put together some great information here, value delivered, so on and so forth. I'm just going to, again, just for time, because I want to make sure we have plenty of time for questions. And Bridget, don't worry, this isn't getting published. We're not sending this to any prospects. Nothing like that's happening. So if it's a little bit off, just know that I'm pushing because I want to make sure, because I know there's probably lots of questions coming up here. Okay.
Well,
all right.
you'd need agentic AI that actually made a decision based on what it saw and took action on it.
Yes, it did. Yeah.
Like Scout would.
What are you? Are you a marketer or are you sales? What's happening over there, Bridget? Come on.
Sorry, like it's open the mouth, it comes out. But that's one of the things I talk about, is that Scout will push stuff to you. And that's a big distinction. That's agentic AI. It's like, whoa, I found something. It changed. Here it is. And every day, every week, every month, these are all the things you need to know how to fix them. So you can take that. It also comes in Slack, Teams, or email with a PDF. You can walk right into your business review meeting. And if you know any analysts out there, they spend most of the week kind of prepping for those big meetings. And Scout just delivers it automatically.
I think there for everybody on there, if you go in the chat, Bridget set up a link for you to buy loops right now so that you can just get going. So it's all right. Okay.
Sorry.
So, no, it's okay. So here's something maybe to try. Like, is there another, oh, here's that consumer goods company you might have been talking about. Is there 5 million? Look at that right there. Okay,
Yeah.
is there another example, right? So what we're doing here, we're looking for detailed case studies that are showing some real world impact. Is there any, like, again, these look pretty good, right? I mean, it actually referenced this one that you were just talking about. So I'm just
Yeah.
going to say confirmed, proceed. Oops,
Yeah.
please.
And Pete, while it's going through the rest of these variables, for everyone else, we plan to have a little bit of time left at the end to discuss any topics or questions you might have. I plopped into the chat our discussion topics guide. Please go in there and just enter anything that you might want to discuss, and then we'll have a vote on it to see what we start with. Keep going,
Okay,
Pete.
so now the next one was like, it's starting to now look at like, how do I put this pitch deck together? And so it went out and looked at your website and it's looking at brand color palette. And so I think this is a page from your site. And so it starts pulling in color. So this is a place where if I don't like this, I just go to my brand, Google slide or Microsoft PowerPoint or whatever document you keep your brands in. And I just give it the file. Right. And so I think this is probably good enough right now. This somewhat matches.
Yep.
Okay. Logo assets. So now it goes out. This is where we found something interesting the other day. We were testing it. Let's see what happens here. SVG and PNG. Permit. Let's see. Oh, it's giving me a page, and it
Right.
looks like it's pulling it from here, which looks like it's right. So we'll say, yep, confirmed. All right, typography. This is getting a little, it's on the, I'll call it the boring side, but it's just trying to figure out like what font do you use? I don't know if this is right.
Make it Poppins, Poppins, please.
Perfect. All right, style, yes, confirm. All right, image style guideline. Okay, visual tone, photography versus illustration. So it's now looking at websites, looking at places where you might have had like blog posts either on yours or somewhere else. Yeah. Okay. So everybody, yeah, any questions? I want to take some questions here because I know we're covering kind of a lot of ground. Why don't we pause?
I might suggest if we can keep it going all the way to the deck outline.
Yeah, let's do it.
If anyone has anything you want to ask, please feel free to jump in. As always, we want this to be interactive. But I think for a lot of folks, we want to see what it does for us after we've invested in answering all these questions.
I'm just going to confirm it.
And
yep,
you can upload along the way, right, to inform it. Yeah,
that's right.
mm-hmm.
Great. Perfecto.
Awesome.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
because again, oh, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, now it's going to give you a readout of these 13 variables, right? Just very basics here. So it's a good place to stop and say, hey, no, change this to this. Like, hey, no, not Poppins, put in Times New Roman, and who knows. Okay, so now it's just jumping right into the first slide. And all it's doing here is giving us the content for the slide. Okay, and I'm just going to bump this down a little bit. Oh, and that's interesting. It chose to create a this is interesting. Sometimes, these things are not deterministic. So let's see what it's doing here.
So one of the things I thought was cool when I saw this preview to me was the fact that it's not only giving you potentially content for the slide, but the talking narrative points around it. So not all of this information go into that. But as you were thinking about how we enable reps to tell the story of the transformation that we're proposing, like we need to give them that meat. And so this is what becomes speaker notes, and or depending on your organization, I've seen organizations even script this. Like back in the day, I remember the Zora deck, like the reps were pretty tight in delivering it consistently. And so depending on how you do things in your org, like this gives you that extra fodder to be able to do that, which I think is helpful, certainly.
So what's interesting here, and this is going on, I don't know if you're noticing this, but it's actually doing slide 3, but it's going back. So as it writes some things in here, it's learning. It's because remember, these things just predict the next token. But what's nice is that it gets to this area and it's like, oh, wait, I need to make this consistent and coherent. So it's going back and it's rewriting some of the earlier slide content in order to make it all coherent. And so here we go. That's slide 2, slide 3. And it looks like it's still going. Yeah, this one shows conceptual shift toward causal agentic analytics before naming loops. Oh, I need to say proceed. I noticed that it stopped when I was looking down here. Yeah, now it's just rereading what it read, what it output. That's also something, sometimes these things, they have what's called a token output limit. And so if it's generating quite a bit, it will tell you it's going to do the next thing, and then it'll just stop like it did here. And so you just have to tell it to continue or to proceed. So again, all this is doing right now is giving you kind of the Google Doc version of your slide deck. It's the outline, like Christina was saying. And let's see, is it moving on? Yes, proceed. I didn't do it this time, but one of the nice things about ChatGPT is that when you answer, you can you can tell it, use a canvas to create your output. And that way it'll put it in this format that we're seeing over here. So let's see, where are we? Should be slide 4.
Almost there. It's
Almost there.
Working on slide 5.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of story here, right? Like
There's a lot.
you imagine this is like a 30 to 60-minute story, potentially, depending on how your reps involve the customer.
Yeah.
All right. It's
That's
continuing.
pretty cool.
Yeah, it's good language.
Well, it's yours. All it did was go look at what was on your website, and then you steered it, Bridget.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Very cool.
All right, last slide. Yes, please. Oh, there it goes. It already started. Just did it on its own. Okay. So it's going to get this last one done. And
Maybe while it's doing that, Pete, I don't know if we'll have time to do the visuals, but maybe talk through what somebody does with the deck outline and some of the AI presentation tools, because that's where I think it can be cool. Some organizations may already have an existing pitch deck, so they take this outline and they use it to revise the existing pitch deck to make it stronger. Others might want to start from scratch, and so how might they do that?
yeah, so I will so what I like to do is with the risk of kind of moving around a little bit faster, I'm just going to scroll up as it's doing slide 6, and I'm going to go back up to here. I'm going to take, oh, actually, I'm going to wait. So I'm going to let it finish, and I'm going to write in here, I'm going to write, give me all of the design, branding, colors, fonts here. So, oh, actually, you know what? Now that it's done, I would just literally say, yeah, let's, oh, it's actually going to that next step. Visual design implementation. I'm going to say, instead of phase 4, just create a new canvas and mock up slides 1, 2, and 3 for me now. Use all of the design standards we learned. Okay. I don't even need to do that because it knows what it already figured out. And so it's building a brand new document that looks very complex because it's using some coding. It's just React is just a fancy HTML file with JavaScript in it. That's really all it is. And so what you'll be able to do is preview this thing once it writes all this out. So it's using kind of what it learned during the process of answering all those questions and just building up a few mock-ups here. And so once it's done, we can click the preview button, and here we go. So this is slide 1. Again, it may not be everything you asked for, but really what you're doing here is generating ideas. You're generating inspiration that you can then use to maybe work with your design team. Like you take an element from this or something else. What is this? This is talking about, I don't know, it's like giving me all this data here about 70% of companies. Companies don't need more data. They need causal clarity. Is that good, Bridget?
I love that. That's excellent. Yeah.
Yeah. Current tools show what happened, not why. I love it. Put these little logos in here. The cost of guesswork is growing. Okay. So I only asked
this
it
is
for
where
3.
Yeah, and I think this is where, for example, you may have your own graphics or pictures, but this is also where if you take this outline out to something like some of the specific presentation AI tools, where they can also help take it to that next level. So Gamma's one. Pete, what are some of the other ones that you've played with?
Yeah, you can like try Beautiful AI. And so what I did here is I'll just copy this because this is the slide outline. And let's just do that. Let's go to Gamma. Let's see what happens. Right, you can see I did a couple other ones here. Let's just do create new. And I'm going to do from notes, and I'm going to just put the slide content in here like this. And, oh, should I have done, oh yeah, generate from notes or an outline. And then I'm just going to, you can have whatever, you can modify all this, but then what I'll do is I'll just go back. Actually, where was I? Sorry, I'm moving around a lot. I had my whole page set up here. So I'll go back here while it's working and I'll say, hey, just let's use these, right? And I'll put it in Gamma and I'll just say, hey, here are the additional instructions. And then I'll just let it cook. And so what it'll do is just take the outline and it's now just going to build a slide deck based on what we figured out from ChatGPT. It's not going to be the same as ChatGPT, but yet it gives you yet another sort of way to get inspiration, try things out, right? Remember, a lot of this is about how can you iterate more quickly so you can test more things and make decisions more quickly so you can move ahead. So there you go. There are your slick slides. Just like that. I mean, I don't know, like this is interesting, but probably needs to be edited somehow. This is like how much money they saved, or I don't know. But you get the idea. So let me switch.
Those are percentage increases on core KPIs.
There you go. Yeah. Okay. So you see, it's not perfect, but so let me go back down here. I just want to see where, network error, retry. Okay. So anyway, I think, look, we've got like 13 minutes. Why don't we like open it up for questions?
Yeah,
You get
definitely.
the idea, right? So I'll just sum up here. So what did we do? All we did was answer questions and just try to steer this. And, look, results are going to vary, but the idea here is the goal here isn't to produce a replacement for something that your marketing org is going to do. The idea here is to rapidly iterate on and use a framework to rapidly iterate and come up with new ideas that are going to be more tuned to the customer you're messaging toward. And you can then take this and then make your professional version of it. But I just like it, again, as a design and prototyping tool. It's pretty incredible. So I'll leave it there, and then let's go ahead, Christina.
I was just gonna say, I'm so curious. So Zach and Shelly, I know you were trying to open the GPT. Did you guys get to play with it at all?
Yeah, I'm up and running.
Nice. And how what's it producing? Like, is it good?
Oh, well, I got access. I'm kind of following along, but right now, yeah, we're definitely
Got
in.
it.
It's working.
Cool. Anybody else try it? Shelly, it sounds like yes, but feeling FOMO. Didn't move past a couple of steps. Yeah, no worries. I mean, it's worth saying too, this is a complex one, right? So this is meant to guide you through, but if at any point you get stuck, please reach out to us. We're starting to do more AI jam sessions with different portfolio companies. So if that's something you'd like to do, whether it be for this or for other topics, like Bridget, we did one on content not that long ago. I don't know if you want to speak to that, but I have lots of folks coming with, I would say, general, I'm trying to figure out how to apply AI to pipeline or things like that, or others that are saying, hey, I'm just trying to do this right now. Another person came to me and said, I'm trying to brainstorm campaign ideas. Our competitor has these really cool campaigns that went viral, and we're trying to figure out how we do something similar. How would I use AI to do that? So we literally jammed together and created a campaign brainstorming buddy for that person. So I'm just saying, like, anything you might want to do, if you want to get together and do a jam session one-on-one, please don't hesitate to reach out. We'd be happy to do that. You can either reach out to Mark or directly to Peter, myself. And I'm happy to put our emails into the chat if that's helpful. But please, we're here to help with that brainstorming and whatever you might be trying to tackle. Okay, so we only have about 10 minutes left, so thank you for putting the emails in. I have our discussion doc. If we want to go over there, we can, or feel free to just come off mute and say, I have a question. What's anyone doing for ... Or how would I use AI for this? Feel free to just come off mute. Ooh, okay. GPT for optimizing AI search. Are you talking about like AEO? Like the answer engines and the generative engine answers? Yeah, that's cool.
Showing up when someone asks about something, getting your content showing up in their ChatGPT, Claude, and Perplexity results.
Love that. Okay. And if that's not something we have, I'll definitely find someone.
Yeah, I got an email from
HubSpot. Share.
HubSpot today has I mean, we're a HubSpot customer. They had a AI search kind of scorer for free, and that was interesting.
Amazing.
You can type in your company, and it gives you where you're at on a scale, and then it also all your competitors on a scale. That makes you feel like crap, but they are a lot bigger and been around a lot longer than us. But then it gives you a PDF about what you can kind of do, but like detailed, like here's how you do it sort of stuff would be really helpful.
Yeah.
And if it means you got to go buy one of these tools and use it, that's the answer. That's fine. We do that, but we're not doing too much. I'd love to know if other people are doing anything in that, but that's a different topic.
Well, it's definitely one we can add to the list. So, and I'm actively out there searching for use cases of folks who are doing SEO, AEO, GEO with AI to figure out how to get you some of that intel. Let's see. Okay, great. I'll definitely add that one to the list. Has anyone else been doing anything like that on the call? No one's coming off mute. All right, no problem. That's a great one, Bridget, and I'll add it to the list so we can tackle that in a future one. Anybody else have topics that you're interested in how to apply AI to?
I was going to send this over, but I always like, I feel like AI, like Matt says, he doesn't love the writing of it, but it's always good at kind of reformatting things. And so sometimes I'll make like a white paper or an ebook or something, and then you need landing pages and, promotional emails or emails for SDRs. I wanted to create I import my asset and it spits out all the associated campaign materials. That's what I would love
Oh, we
from.
can do that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
straightforward.
Sure.
I will
Yeah.
say, Rachel, also just in my experience, like there's a couple things you can do. One, these bots do have an ability to change the way it writes.
Yeah.
The best is Claude. Claude allows you to actually save different writing styles, and you can give it docs to do, and it's remarkable at how good it is. Um, and so there's some things that we could probably create and share around how to get it a little bit more natural.
I think it gets better with time, absolutely. And I've been following along and like feeding it. And I think your bot is a little obviously not to the brand the way like I've created the +1 marketing assistant with Christina recently and Maria. And like I think that certainly as you use it, the writing gets just so much better.
Yeah, well, and I think the more examples, so if you create content, you edit it to the point that you love it or you feel like it's aligned to the right voice, and then we feed that back, it can actually tell you attributes of that voice that you're like, I can't quite explain. And so that's where it can tell you the information that it then needs to drive more consistent results in future generations. So I know there's a lot of different ideas here. We've definitely done a lot of content ones lately and sort of content and ideation ones. And so it might be in the next lab or two, we actually tackle some of those because I think that's a huge jumping off point. And I've seen some great resources that I'll post in Discord around understanding differences in models. Now, it's still changing so much so fast, but there are a lot of folks that are doing great videos that tear it down. So for example, there's a great video I came across the other day on just understanding ChatGPT's different models. And you don't have to use all of them or understand them all, but knowing which ones to use for what saves yourself a lot of headache and saves you some of those results that we're all kind of like, that are becoming very meme worthy.
So
Pete, you want to cover business?
I'm being very vulnerable here. I'm just showing you like I created this. I did a bunch of work, but it analyzed my writings over many, many years. And it came up with this, right? I use Claude and ChatGPT, and it's built, right, this writing style for me. And it has these elements. It's got like I guess I use a diagnostic approach, blah, 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 blah. But you can see this is like 4 pages of kind of detail. This is what I'm saying. So if you use this as a document for your AI, like, and just put your own brand, right? Put in POR, put in loops, put in whatever. You'll be pleasantly surprised at the results. But it takes that
Yeah, it's super cool.
it takes that kind of attention, right? To make it do that. Yeah.
Amazing. All right, I know we have just 4 minutes left, so I've got a couple of those ideas written down. Again, our objective here is like if we can answer them, we will try to. If we can try to go build it, we will try to. If it's something we need to go find someone who is already doing this or can show this off, we will try to. So send us all of your questions or topic areas.
I have a
Anything else? Yeah, go ahead.
Just to kind of finish up on this pitch generator, I know you had said some people will kind of feed what they already have in there and see how it makes recommendations. I think I'm at step 8, and I would certainly be very curious on how it would recommend I modify. Would you say I just kind of close up, finish up the steps of the sales pitch generator, then feed in my deck and ask for feedback?
Well, I don't, it might give you feedback, but the way I've written the GPT is it is always going to get back to the methodology. So almost anything you tell it, it's going to try to, and the methodology does not include analyzing your deck.
Okay.
What you can do is, as it's asking you questions, if it's not getting accurate results, you can give it your brand parameters. You can give it a new messaging doc, and it'll read that and incorporate it into the pitch deck it gives you. But it's not going to analyze we can create one that analyzes your pitch deck, but this one won't do that.
I think we should.
Yeah.
Let's play with that, Pete, because I think it'd be really fun to do like a pitch deck audit based off of that framework. That could be another
Yeah.
one.
Oh,
Because
it's,
some
yeah.
folks are starting from scratch and some folks already have a deck and they just want to figure out how to modify it.
Well, I
Actually,
think
pretty,
also the persona ones are, yeah, I mean, that one I haven't set up yet, but that one I would love to kind of feed assets into for feedback.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Great ideas.
Happy to work on that.
And following along in the chat, Patricia followed along with the GPT and used Gamma, and now she's got 6 super slick slides. That
That's
was a
awesome.
mouthful.
I think we
6
should have said
super
to
slick slides.
we should have said to Rachel, we'll build it, but you then need to be the guinea pig on the next one.
Okay.
Amazing.
Well, I
All
just
right, we
want
just have
to say that was really great, Pete. Thank you so much. That was really fun to do and
Yeah.
really impressive. Amazing
I'm
work.
glad you guys liked it. Yeah, fantastic.
And Christina, your sibling story that you GPT, I mean, Christina helped me like upgrade to the paying version and start to use custom GPTs, which was new for me pretty recently. But that one that I use that every single time I do something on ChatGPT.
Oh, that's
And
great. I
Oh,
mean,
good.
it's addictive. Once
yeah,
once you once you really dig in and play, then it's just like imagination. And I think we get inspiration from seeing how others are using it. So that's
yeah.
awesome. And happy to play with that more. Another one that I've been doing a lot with folks is I'll call them brainstorming buddies. So I put one in the Discord, which is for like, again, a lot of you guys are go-to-market leaders that are doing, like, you're still very in the doing, even though you're strategic leaders. And so figuring out how you create team around you in GPTs to help bounce ideas off of and to help refine is one that I think is really fun. So let me know if you want to get together and build one. All right, guys. Well, we're at the top of the hour. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you again in 2 weeks.